Hello YouTube and welcome to Casa del Yeti. It's Friday night, I've just finished work, I've given the house a quick once over, and tomorrow I'm going camping. And I'm going to be taking with me some home cooked food. Now recently on the channel I've had a lot of comments and messages from a few people asking me to do a video on how I prep my food with the Mylar food bags. So today I'm going to be showing you how to cook a Yeti brekki and a stir fry, and how to seal it in the bags using the sealer. Obviously there's a little bit of a disclaimer here, I'm no chef, I've got no food hygiene qualifications, however I'm not daft either. So I'm simply showing you how I cook, prepare and seal the food in these bags for when I go camping. The first thing I want to know is you will notice I've put the date on the bags. 2 of these meals are going with me tomorrow and the other 2 are going to go in the freezer. That way I know exactly when the food's gone in the freezer so it doesn't go out of date. And obviously I write on the bag what's inside as well. It's been a little bit colder today than the last few days, so I've got the log burner going. You will notice my boots are still drying out from last week. Right, it's time to hit the kitchen. I do apologise for the poor lighting in here. Just before Christmas we had a leak on our hot water boiler, so we've lost a lot of the lights, and we've only just heard back from the insurance company that they're going to send us some money to get the repairs done. So I'm doing my best I can for you. Because I'm going to be freezing one of the breakfasts, I'm using black pudding instead of eggs. We've got 6 Cumberland sausages. We've got 8 oak smoke back bacon, and we've got a tin of beans. And for the stir fry I've got Korean inspired pork belly slices. Normally I would just get the pork pieces Japanese style, unfortunately they didn't have any of those this week. Sea salt and black pepper cashew nuts, stir fry rainbow vegetables, spicy and rich noodles, and a hoisin stir fry sauce. Pretty basic ingredients there, so I'm going to cook that lot up and I'm going to show you how I do that, and then I'm going to show you how I put it in the bags. First thing that goes in is the 6 Cumberland sausage into the air fryer, 200 Celsius for half an hour. And then the bacon goes in. And I do 4 at a time because there's 4 slices in each Yeti brekki. Once the bacon's done, take it out, put it on a plate to rest, and then it's time to do the black pudding. I like to use the same oil that I use for the bacon, gives it a little bit more flavour. Apologies for the noise, I've had to put the fan on, and as you can probably see it's getting a little smoky in here. 15 minutes, you'll need to turn your sausages so they're cooked evenly and nicely browned all the way around. Once the black pudding's done, you can also put that on the plate with the bacon. At this point we've got 10 or 11 minutes left to go for the sausages. As they're either going to be going in the fridge overnight or in the freezer to wait for next time that you go camping, it doesn't matter if those sausages go cold, so we're going to make a start on the stir fry. Because these were larger strips of pork, I've cut them down into smaller pieces, which will make it easier for reheating in the bag when you're at camp. But if you buy the normal smaller pieces of pork, then you don't need to do that. A little bit of oil in the wok, let it warm up, and then in goes the pork. Once your pork's browned off, add a good helping of your veg. And your cashew nuts, and give it a good stir. And once that's cooked for a little bit, you can add your sauce. You can use any sauce you fancy, but like I say, in this case, it's hoisin. Once again, give that a good stir. Once that's had 2 or 3 minutes, you'll notice everything's starting to cook. We've still got quite a bit of the sauce, it's not evaporated off too much. That's when I like to add my noodles, so the noodles can absorb some of that sauce and give it a bit of extra flavour. Now give it a really good stir, then you can turn the heat down and just let it simmer. Whilst that stir fry was just finishing off, I kept stirring it and I was chopping up all the sausage, bacon and black pudding. I like to give it a good coat of pepper. That just adds a nice little kick to it. The stir fry is off the heat now, so that's just getting a little bit of extra heat, keeping it warm, a little bit more cooking while we start bagging up the breakfast. Tin of beans, give it a good shake and take the lid off ready. There's going to be half a tin of beans in each one of these breakfasts. Get your bag ready, open it up, don't put too much pressure on it because it can go with a pop and you can end up ripping it there. Open it up at the bottom, so effectively it'll stand up, and then all you do is you balance the different food groups out throughout the bag. So we'll go a couple of bacon, a couple of sausages, a couple of bits of black pudding. We'll go another bacon, pudding, and then you drop some beans in. Each layer I like to add a little squirt of brown sauce, and then you just keep going like that until the bag's full. The stir fry is a little easier to get into the bags, however it is a little bit more messy. So all you're doing with the stir fry is dividing it up between 2 bags. Now periodically, when you're putting stuff in these bags, just give it a tap. Helps it settle, and then it stands up on its own, so it frees up one of your hands. Just keep going till both bags are full. You can see what I mean there about the stir fry being a bit messy. One of the important things with this is you need to make sure that this top area where you're going to be sealing is nice and clean. I find baby wipes really handy for that. Obviously you want to make sure that the outside of your bag's nice and clean too, so it doesn't mess up your rucksack or the inside of your fridge or freezer. You want to particularly pay attention to the seal on the inside because it's a pinch seal. You want to make sure that nothing's sticking in there and make sure it seals properly. So you've made sure that the inside of the top is nice and clean, as is the outside of the bag. So what you want to do is pinch at the top of the level where your food is. Get as much of the air out as you possibly can, and then use the pinch seals to seal it up. quick double check, make sure the outside of all the bags is nice and clean. Now the reason that I like to squeeze as much of the air out as possible is when it's in your jet boil or on your stove, if there's air in there it can expand. So that means that if you squeeze all the air out, it's got less chance of popping while it's in your jet boil. So we've done all the prep there. It's now time to seal using the sealer. On the end of the sealer is a power. With the Mylar bags you need it pretty much on full power. Now you will notice on the bag there is a tear strip. Now if you push this bit too far in, it will seal, but when you come to tear that off at camp, it's going to be very difficult. So you want to seam seal right along just the very top edge. So all we're going to do is put that top edge in the center. You'll hear it buzz, and then it'll stop buzzing. And you can see there it's sealed right along that top edge, completely sealed. So we're going to do that with the remaining meals. And there we have it. It's as simple as that. That's my guide to preparing food for use in the Mylar bags for when you go camping. The Yeti brekki or the stir fry or pretty much anything else you can cook at home that'll fit inside these bags you can use for when you go camping. Now you can get a variety of different sizes of these Mylar bags. I can't remember exactly what size these are, but I will put a link to these exact bags and that sealer in the description. You can go and check it out, and if you click on the link for the bags you can see what different sizes are available. But I find these bags are perfect for fitting inside the jet boil, and you can still get plenty in them. It's time for me to go and clean up the aftermath in the kitchen. Thanks for joining me on this one, and I hope you found it very useful. So once again, until next time, stay safe, much love from a Cumbrian lad.